The expletive heard around the world. We've all heard it. The president's very, very ugly description of nations in Africa. Also, his unwillingness to accept immigrants from Haiti. Now the president says he didn't say that. Joining us now, the Hawaii Congresswoman, the Democrat, Tulsi Gabbard. She's a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Congresswoman, thanks so much for joining us. I quickly want to get your reaction to what is so widely reported, what the president said to these lawmakers yesterday.
Yeah, you know, Wolf, growing up in Hawaii, we learn about and I believe in what's called the ALOHA spirit. And what that really means in a practical way is showing respect to others, no matter their race, no matter their religion, what country they come from, how much money they have, what level of education they have, or anything else. And unfortunately, President Trump's comments fly directly in the face of that ALOHA spirit and, frankly, the values that our country represents and stands on. So I think it's important for us as we look at this and as we look at the path forward to actually remember that our nation for generations has been that shining light on the hill for so many immigrants, people who have sought to come here, sometimes risking their lives, to seek that opportunity, to be in a country of freedom, of opportunity, not only for themselves, but for their families, and who have that true sense of appreciation of what that really means, often coming from countries that don't have those freedoms. The
words were incredibly ugly, but do you believe the President of the United States is a racist?
I think name-calling is beside the point and doesn't actually accomplish anything. When we look at what's important for the American people, what they're concerned about right now is what do Donald Trump's policies mean to them? And so when you look at his quote-unquote merit-based immigration rules that he's advocating for, we've got to ask, what do those merits mean? It appears that he is talking about only allowing people in this country who have a certain degree, who maybe have a certain amount of money in the bank, or who may be coming from countries that maybe they don't necessarily need to leave, as opposed to having a definition of merit that may not meet those material requirements, but really where we're talking about people who have that hunger, who have that drive and determination to come to this country, work hard for themselves and their families, and that deep appreciation of what that freedom and opportunity means that this country represents around the world.
Because if those rules were in place over the many years of our country's history, merit-based, only highly educated, only wealthy, people who speak English, people who come from certain countries, if only they were allowed in, most of us who are children of immigrants, we wouldn't be here right now.
That's right. And I think that's the issue here, is that the very people that President Trump seeks to exclude from this country are those who have contributed so greatly to making our country the great, strong country that it is.
In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, I want to get to some national security, foreign policy issues. The president said this: "I probably have a very good relationship with Kim Jong Un." You're smiling. He wouldn't say whether or not he's actually ever spoken with Kim Jong Un, the North Korean leader, someone in the past he likes to call Little Rocket Man. Do you have any information to back that up, that the president probably has a very good relationship with Kim Jong Un?
Look, we've been given no information that there have been any direct talks, what to speak of, between President Trump and Kim Jong Un or other members of his administration. This is something that I've been advocating for a long time. Wolf, you know, you and I have talked about the threat that the people of Hawaii feel from North Korea, given we fall squarely within the range of their intercontinental ballistic missiles. Hawaii has recently started these nuclear alarm tests every month. So this is a very real threat. I've been calling for direct negotiations without preconditions between the United States, North Korea, Trump and Kim Jong Un, to begin to de-escalate and ultimately denuclearize the North Korean peninsula, because we don't have time to waste.
And U.S. officials are telling us, after the president said this, that he probably has a very good relationship with Kim Jong Un, that they're not aware of any contact that the president may have had. There may be some indirect contacts, emissaries, if you will, between the U.S. and North Korea, but certainly nothing direct between the president and Kim Jong Un. And that's what you're hearing as well in all the briefings that you've had over these years.
I wish that he would.
I know you're also very passionate about this FISA legislation, which the House of Representatives passed yesterday. You opposed it, right?
Yes, I did, and I supported the amendment that would not only allow Section 702 to continue, because as a veteran, I know firsthand how important it is for our intelligence personnel and community to be able to access information and communications of foreign targets to prevent terrorist attacks. However, there are incidental communications of American citizens that are swept up through that collection. And currently, law enforcement is able to access those innocent Americans' communications without a warrant. Our amendment that we offered yesterday fixed that. It provided that solution of striking that balance. It unfortunately was. We got about over 180 votes in support of.
You need 218.
Absolutely. The underlying bill that passed and now goes to the Senate, where I hope they'll address these issues, unfortunately does not provide those reforms that maintain the protection of our security, but also protect the civil liberties of Americans.
Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Wolf. Aloha.
Aloha to you, too. Coming up,